This will be my first attempt at a video review. I've never actually done these before, so bear with me. Okay, these are the more recent Star Trek Starship models from Eaglemoss, issues 22 and 23. Issue 22 is a ship. Now, if you've seen the Voyager episode, The Year of Hell, or a two-part episode, then many of you should be pretty knowledgeable of the ship. This is the Krenim Time Ship. It was about the size of a Romulan warbird, maybe just a little bigger. The ship was created by Anarax, a man who was obsessed with restoring the Krenim Empire to its former glory so he could get his wife back, after he made a series of mistakes that ended up altering the timeline of his entire people so much that no matter what he did, he just couldn't get it back. At least not until he encountered Voyager and Janeway's sacrifice. Now, the model, as you can see, I'll try and get in close. Bear with me because it's the digital camera that I'm using. Now, the model is quite detailed. It has an Aztec-like pattern on the hull. Now, some would say this looks a bit like the Babylon 5 station, and perhaps it does. Me, I think it looks like a kind of a space kraken. Poor Jack Sparrow. Now, sadly, it doesn't come with a little jewel that you see in the episode itself. And it doesn't erase time, thankfully. And can you imagine something like that in the hands of people's hands? That would be scary. Now, the ship itself was actually quite slow. It was much slower than the Voyager. The time ship could only manage a cruising speed, or a max speed of warp 6, which is quite slow compared to Voyager, but it had considerable firepower. However, without its temporal shielding, its basic shielding was pretty weak, really, much weaker than Voyager's. But they still had considerable firepower. However, the main weapon itself was a form of focused temporal energy, which could completely erase a civilization. It would completely alter the entire timeline of any impact that species had. It's a good thing he never got to Earth. That would have been absolutely terrifying. It really is a very nice model. Now, some people have said that they do have a little problem with the way the model sits in its stand. I haven't had much of a problem. But then, I usually tend to be mindful. Now, I'll see if I can take it out of the stand. Here we go. Well, that's in my hands. Now, I can't zoom in because it drains the batteries of my camera quite quickly. But as you can see, it's a very well designed model. I am trying to get in as much detail as I can. The camera can't really get that much. I still think it looks a bit like a space kraken. Davy Jones got an upgrade. It is a very good model. If I had to say a flaw, I guess it's a shame they didn't have the little gem, like here, where the temporal energy would be focused and come out. That's understandable. I guess it would have been probably a little expensive to maybe add in like a little extra, a little fiddly. So there we go. It's a good model. It's nicely detailed and it looks very menacing. So on to the next model. Now, the next model, now I'm sure many of the older Star Trek fans will know this ship class, the Nebula class. The Nebula class was first introduced in The Best of Both Worlds, but it was only a wreck after the Borg had gone through with it. We didn't see a Nebula class in full until the episode The Wounded, when Captain Benjamin Maxwell had gone rogue and was attacking Cardassian ships and outposts, because he believed that the Cardassians were shipping weapons, and he was right. However, his actions almost resulted in another war with the Cardassians. The design for his ship, though, the Phoenix, had a very different upper module. It was more circular. This design really wouldn't appear until sometime later. We learned about Deep Space Nine, the episode Second Sight, when we start to see this design be more commonplace. Well, I believe it was Second Sight. That was in Deep Space Nine Season 2. That ship was... I'm trying to remember the name of the ship. I believe it was USS Prometheus. That was with... sorry mate, I'm having a bit of trouble remembering the guy's name. I watched the episode a few days ago. Now, this model is of the USS Honshu. The USS Honshu appeared in Deep Space Nine, in the Deep Space Nine episode The Waltz in Season 6. It was carrying Gul Dukat back to a Federation prison because, for his war crimes, and after he'd gone insane after Damar had killed his daughter. The ship was attacked by the Dominion and destroyed. And Sisko and Dukat ended up being stranded on a planet, and Dukat came to face just how evil he truly was. It's a very good episode. The Nebula class, in many ways, you could say it looks a bit like a Galaxy class. The sources section here is quite large, and the lower hull. Let's see if I can remove it from the stand. That's kind of the problem with the model, is that it doesn't really hold too well in its stand. It's a shame. Now, as you can see, the warp nacelles are very much like a Galaxy class, and the engineering hull, however, doesn't have the neck. Instead, what it has is this back module can be designed for science and weapons, like a weapon pod. We will start to see more of these ships gradually, like the one that was attacked by the USS Prometheus in the episode Message in the Bottle, which is a very good episode. Good laugh. Now this model is just gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful. There aren't really that many flaws. However, there are people who have received their models who have mentioned that the sensor pod here is rather, it isn't quite on properly. It's either leaning that way or leaning that way. Thankfully mine isn't, which is good. I really do like this model. I've loved the Nebula class ever since the first time I saw it. It is a beautiful design. If I had to say, for the flaws, I would have to say that the weakest point I find is the stand. The stand doesn't really want to hold the model too well, which, to be honest, is actually quite a shame. Let's see if I can maybe get it back on the stand now. Bear in mind, this is actually a little fiddly, because the way it's designed, it is designed to try and fit in quite well. However, the model is quite front heavy. So the stand has trouble really getting a good grip of it, which is quite a shame. And sometimes I won't even go in full. Now, I should hold it now. But as you can see, the stand, the model is actually quite heavy for the stand. The stand could have done with much better support, like a support going kind of under here to hold it in place, not like with the Galaxy class models. Oh dear. Oh. Oh, it's not going to hold, it's not going to hold. But as a whole, the model is quite beautiful. The detail is excellent. It has a lot of detail, as you can see. Here and here, all kinds of little details. I know it's a bit hard to make out, but there's a lot of detail. So, out of the two models that came out this past month, it's hard to say which one's really the better. They're both extremely good models. They have their little flaws, that's to be expected, but they are really beautiful models, very well made. And they are well worth getting if you can. So that's my first video review. Let me know what it was like, and I'll see if I can make another one next month. The next models. And signing off.